Family dinners followed a script no one acknowledged. Same table, same polite choreography of questions, updates, small triumphs offered like currency, the performance of collective stability. Even the pauses had a rhythm, long enough to feel natural, short enough to avoid discomfort. My brother thrived in this setting. He always had. "I've got news," he said, leaning back slightly, the posture of someone preparing to deliver something rehearsed but framed as spontaneous. Forks slowed. Attention tilted. "I'm the new regional director." The words landed exactly as intended. Not loud, not modest, weighted with significance. My mother's face lit with immediate pride, my father nodding with that restrained approval he reserved for measurable success. Around the table, congratulations unfolded with predictable warmth. I smiled. Not forced, not ironic, just socially appropriate, because the promotion was real. What made the moment strange, quietly surreal, was that 24 hours earlier, I had signed documents that altered its meaning entirely. The acquisition had finalized late in the afternoon. Months of negotiation distilled into signatures, handshakes, procedural language. Nothing cinematic, no dramatic declarations of victory. Just ownership transferring through paperwork. His company. Now technically mine. Of course, he didn't know. The timing had been coincidental, though coincidence rarely feels innocent when layered over history. "I worked for this," he continued, accepting praise with practiced ease. "Years of grinding, sacrifices, all true." Yet something in his tone carried the familiar undertone, success as comparison rather than experience. Then inevitably his gaze shifted toward me. "And you," he added lightly, with that conversational cruelty disguised as humor. "You're still nothing." The table didn't react immediately. Because this, too, followed the script. A joke, technically. An old dynamic wearing new clothes. Years earlier, comments like that had landed differently. Back when my career was uncertain, my decisions less legible within the family's preferred framework. My brother's trajectory, structured, upward, easily narratable, had provided a convenient reference point. I had been the ambiguous one, experimenting, repositioning, quietly building something that didn't translate well into dinner conversation metrics. Even after my own successes began accumulating, investments performing well, ventures stabilizing, opportunities compounding, the family narrative lagged behind reality. Perception calcified early. Adjustments came slowly, if at all. Outgrowing someone I'd learned rarely updates their internal image of you. "You always did lack ambition," he said, half smiling. Not anger. Certainty. And beneath it, something almost unconscious, the comfort of a hierarchy assumed permanent. I felt no surge of vindication, no triumphant anticipation, only a faint, unexpected discomfort. Because sitting there, watching him inhabit a version of reality already structurally outdated, I became aware of something unsettling. Success doesn't automatically rewrite relationships. Sometimes it simply exposes their fragility. I set my glass down carefully. "Actually," I said, the word was enough to shift the room's atmosphere by a fraction. Not tension, attention recalibrating. "You're not." Silence, immediate and dense. My brother frowned slightly, the reflexive irritation of someone interrupted mid-performance. "Not what?" I held his gaze. "Regional director." For a moment, his expression carried only confusion, his brain searching for conversational footing rather than factual interpretation. Then recognition flickered. Not understanding yet, but instability. "What are you talking about?" "The acquisition closed yesterday." The sentence felt oddly neutral. Administrative. Like reporting weather. The table remained very still, because authority, when it enters a room quietly, often takes a second to be recognized. My brother stared at me, waiting for the correction, the reveal of exaggeration or absurdity. It didn't come. "That's not funny." "I'm not joking." Something shifted in his posture, confidence contracting into tension. "You don't buy companies," he said flatly. The statement carried the weight of long, held belief rather than present analysis. I nodded slightly. "I do now. Around us, The emotional geometry of the table rearranged itself. My parents' expressions tilting from confusion toward that delicate, disoriented recalculation that occurs when reality contradicts narrative. "You're lying," he said. But the conviction had thinned, not dominance, defensiveness emerging through cracks. "I didn't pursue this to prove anything," I said quietly, and that was the part that felt most difficult to explain, even to myself. Because beneath the surface symmetry of the moment lay something less satisfying than imagined. Watching his certainty fracture carried no pleasure, only the uneasy awareness that roles once reversed rarely settle comfortably. "This is insane," he muttered, though his eyes had already begun performing their own silent arithmetic. Ownership. Structure. Implications unfolding with slow inevitability. No one raised their voice. No dramatic confrontation ignited. Just a family table suspended in the strange, uncomfortable space between perception and reality. Later, people would probably describe it as a victory. It didn't feel like one. Only the quiet, disorienting realization that outgrowing someone doesn't guarantee they can follow, and that success, when finally acknowledged, sometimes arrives carrying a subtle, but permanent distance no one at the table quite knew how to bridge.